Okay, so PLR Business Kickstart. So let's talk about a 30-day plan for product creation. Let's assume that you're having a busy month, right? Let's assume you're going to have a busy month, right? So I don't expect you to work all day, every day on this, right? That's not the idea. Let's assume you have a PLR video course. Let's say you have a lot of them. Now, you don't have to have any of them, right, to benefit from this. So really, if you have them, it's great. It'll help you when I get to that point. But if not, it's fine. I mean, you're still going to have to go through the same steps anyway. Let's assume you currently don't have a huge list. And I've already told you why that is. Because we're going to be doing the product snowball, right? If we do the product snowball, we're going to start assuming we don't have a list. We're going to start assuming we don't have a huge list because we're going to launch on Warrior Plus. Why? Why are we going to launch on Warrior Plus? Well, we're going to launch on Warrior Plus because I don't need to have an existing network in order to get traffic to my offers. Does everybody understand that? So if you get that, please put the number 4 in the question box. Once again, now if you launch on JV Zoo, if you launch on JV Share, if you don't have an existing network, you will probably not get traffic to the offer, right? You will probably not get traffic to the offer. If you launch on Warrior Plus, you will get some traffic to your offer, even if you don't have an existing network with affiliates. Now, let's assume you currently don't have an audience. Let's assume you currently don't have an audience. So you don't have a podcast right now. You don't have a blog. Let's assume now a YouTube channel. Now, when I say that, don't let that be the case forever, right? The best combination in internet marketing you could possibly have is an audience and a list, right? An audience and a list. So it's not just the money is in the list. The money is in the audience and the list. Because if you have an audience, you are providing regular value on a regular basis. Now, in other words, you can actually use your email to provide the value. You can use a podcast to provide value. You can use YouTube to provide value. You can use Facebook Live to provide value. It really doesn't matter, right? Pick one and build an audience. But we're going to assume you don't have one right now. Our goal is to work an hour a day, right? Until we've either recast our PLR videos or create an entirely new product. That's the goal with the system. And once we do this the first time, we can repeat the process. We just go faster. Every time you launch a product, you're going to go faster the next time, right? So you develop and you use this outline I'm giving you today, and you develop a system. And when you do it again a second time, it's going to go faster. You won't need 30 days. And before you know it, you'll be doing this in 5 days flat. Before you know it, you'll be doing this in 3 days flat. Before you know it, you can probably put together a launch in less than 3 days, right? So again, but that is a matter of doing this. It is not a matter of finding the magic formula. Does everybody understand that? I'm not into magic formulas because I've chased just about every one there are. They don't work. Now, eventually can, and you should be doing a product snowball on the Warrior Plus network, right? So again, I want to come back to that. And the key to the plan is to start with the market and use the resources to build up value. Typically, as internet marketers, sometimes we'll get PLR, sometimes we'll get a great idea. Sometimes we'll see something. We think that is a great idea to approach the market with. And the fact of the matter is we're doing it out of order, right? What we need to do with every good idea is to write it down and table it and start gathering resources. And how many of you all use something like Evernote, or you use something like Trello or something where you can gather up little things you find? You should be keeping a digital file on your ideas, right? If you're not using Evernote, I think there's a free version. You should start. And when you do that, what happens is when you start coming across an idea, let's say, man, you come across a great Facebook product idea, but it's not quite ready, and you don't know if the market wants it. Well, what you do is you create a file in Evernote, and then every time you come across something related to that, you put it in that file. You come across something else, you put it in that file. So again, don't go running to the market with something just because you found it. You wait for the market to tell you what it wants. That's the key to this whole thing. Right now, make this work. You want to look at your PLR as a component, right? Not as the whole thing, right? A component first, but you also want to have your offers hosted and posted as soon as you purchase. Now, again, that's another key part of this. So if you have PLR offers and you don't have buy buttons on them, right, get them on there and get them up. So it almost sounds like I'm contradicting myself, and I'm really not. What I'm saying to you is that PLR is best used when it is a component. At the same time, though, part of what you and I have to do is we have to get our PLR offers with a buy button on them and host it ASAP when we buy them as soon as possible. Now, if you want to rebrand it, if you want to reuse it, doesn't really matter. I'm saying within 3 days of getting a PLR offer, get the offer hosted, right? Get a buy button on it. So days 1 through 7. Here's days 1 through 7. First of all, you got to find out what is selling. Now, again, and what are people talking about? I'm going to give you some specific places. Number one, you're going to go and you're going to start looking at the JVZoo top 10. Now, I'm not saying you have to do products exactly like those. I'm saying this is what will tell you what people are buying, is what people perceive their problems to be, is what people will pull their credit card out and buy. So don't start yet with what you perceive the market is saying. Go to what the market is actually saying by looking at what's selling right now on JVZoo. Look at the top 10. Look at the top 10 on Warrior Plus. What are those products about? Right? What are they doing? What are their subject? What is their form? Look at those products that are selling right now. Look at the deal of the day. Look at product of the day. Find out. It's really simple. I would spend 1 day, right? 1 day on JVZoo, 1 day on Warrior Plus, right? Okay, so Eileen's question is, isn't the top 10 mostly just came out on PLR? Actually, it isn't, Eileen. Actually, it isn't. If we were to go and we were to look at, and again, if you were to plan to launch PLR, that might be true. But I'm saying you don't have to launch PLR. And even if you were, that PLR is an indication that is what the market wants. That means then that what you have to do and what I have to do then is we've got to find something that is relevant to what that PLR offer tapped into. What we have to do is we have to find a new angle to what people are already buying. People are telling us what they have a problem with, and what we have to do, even if what Eileen is saying is true, that it came out on PLR, we then have to go and attack this from a different angle, tapping into whatever it is that caused people to buy that product in the first place. Because look, people bought the product because they thought that it filled some kind of deficiency that they had, or it was going to do something for them they didn't currently have. Right? So what we've got to do is we've got to figure out what that is. Right? But that's a great question. Zaxa top 10. You don't have to spend a whole day on Zaxa because it's not that much there. And JVZoo. I think if you spend 1 day on JVZoo and 1 day on Warrior Plus, when I say spend the day there, I mean study it, look at the deal of the day, look at the top 10 products, look at them, and then look at the sales pages. Look at how many copies sold. Look at how many affiliates sold. Look at the JV pages. When I say study these products, I'm not talking about just looking. I'm talking about everything. Does that make sense? So if you're getting that, please put the number 5 in the question box. When I say study the top 10 products, I'm talking about everything, right? So this is not something that you're going to do and just kind of go about your business. It's going to take a little time. I'm saying you ought to be able to spend an hour on this in the course of a day, right? JVZoo is going to take you an hour. Warrior Plus is going to take you an hour, but you go through everything. Right now, when you do this, here's what's going to happen, right? Here's what's going to happen. You are going to find at least 5 to 6 products because most of them are going to repeat, right? Most of them are going to repeat. Find the problem that isn't being solved, right? Samuel's question is, does JVZoo have the number sold? Yes, it does. It'll tell you how many sold. Okay, so what you and I have to do then is we've got to find the problem that's not being solved. I'm not talking about information at this point, and this is a hard distinction to make, but this is the thing that will separate your product, and it will make it sell even if people don't know you when they get started. You solve a problem that you know people have, right? Solve a problem. Solve a problem. what is a problem that people have. And again, the products will tell you what the problems are. Some people are solving the problem with software. Other people are solving it with an information product. And I can tell you, how many of you all are into e-commerce here? How many of you all are into Shopify and Amazon FBA and all that stuff, right? How many of you all are into that? So if you're into that, please put the letter Y in the question box, right? If that's kind of if that's your bag, right? Some of you. Okay. So basically, if you approach any of those things, you start looking at the people will tell you what their problem is, right? And then, let's see. Brian's question is, I just got back on Facebook and I'm not a huge fan I'm there to see what people need. Okay. So Brian is saying, I think what you're saying is, you're noticing people need websites. They just don't know where to start. So you're fulfilling the need. Exactly right. Right. So being on, Brian's not a big fan of Facebook, but being on Facebook, he's been there, he's been lurking. Right. And so, if you can do Facebook without being distracted, right? And you can be there and you can start looking at what people are saying that they want. It's a great place to figure out what people are saying that they actually need. Right? And when I say this, the socials can be a distraction, but if you can go there and be disciplined, Brian's apparently very disciplined. You can go there and be disciplined, and you can find out what people are saying that they need. You will find what the need is, and you will figure out then how to solve the need. That's exactly right, Brian. Okay, find the problem that is not being solved. Now, here's one thing, and I want you to start thinking about this. You do not have to offer a product, although a product is cool. What Brian is talking about is he offers a service. More than likely, if you're willing to open your brain up, you will see problems all over the place that people are willing to pay to make them go away if you're willing to offer service, right? If you're willing to, for example, those of you who, let's say you decide you want to sell the PLR offer, you got master resale rights to a PLR offer and you sell it, right? What one of the things that you actually could and should be offering is give the PLR away, but install it for $97, right? So in other words, the product is free if you let me install it. So if you start thinking about what kind of services you can bundle together with a product, you will find opportunities all over the place. I'm talking tonight primarily about products, but do not be afraid to offer services, especially if you know how to offer them efficiently, right? Especially if you know how to outsource some of it. And again, people are doing this all day, every day, not just on the socials, but also on the Warrior Forum. Does that make sense? So if you're getting where I'm coming from there about offering services to a problem that's not being solved, put the number 6 in the question box if you get that. And I'm going to move on. Okay, write down. So you're going to have, when I do this, you're probably going to have more than 10, you're probably going to have more than 10 problems that are not being solved when you start looking either in your niche, especially the make money online niche, right? Start writing down a list and narrow the list down. And then come up with 10 topics with specific problems, right? 10 topics with specific problems. And if the problem is covered in an already existing PLR product, it's not a problem. Does everybody understand what I mean when I say that? If what you perceive to be a problem is covered in a PLR offer, right, it's not a problem that you need to go to market with, right? So you and I have to go to the market with problems that people have that they don't know how to answer, and we are going to answer them.